afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am Jeff Grant Media. In today's video, we are going to be doing the Flint and Tinder Wax Trucker Shootout. I now have owned and used all three variations of this jacket, the unlined, the flannel lined, and the wool lined. So I think I have a pretty good grasp on what each of these jackets does, how they handle, what temperatures you can wear them in, and how they all wear. But we're going to start out by talking about the differences in each jacket. Now, the very first difference is the most obvious one, and that is in the name of each of the jackets. We have the unlined, the flannel lined, and the wool lined. So here we have my unlined version in Havana, my flannel lined version in Field Tan, and my wool lined version in the chocolate. So the unlined is just that. This is unlined. There is no liner in this jacket, no liner in the sleeves. This is straight up Martexan sailcloth, and that is it. Wax both sides. There you go. That's what you get. In the flannel lined, we have the same Martexan sailcloth that we have in the unlined, but we have a flannel liner that is flannel lined throughout the body and the sleeves. Then we have the wool line that is, again, Martexan sailcloth. This is wool lined throughout the body, but the sleeves are actually satin lined. So, unlined, flannel, wool, and then the difference between the flannel line and the wool line is that the flannel line has the flannel lining throughout the body and the sleeves, and the wool line is a wool line in the body but has a satin sleeve. So now that the most obvious one is out of the way, the next thing we're going to talk about is the material each of these are made out of. All three of these jackets are manufactured using Martexan sailcloth that is made in New Jersey, and all three are cut and sewn in Los Angeles, California. But the unlined and the flannel line are both made from a 7-ounce Martexan sailcloth, where the wool line is made from an 8¼ ounce Martexan sailcloth. So not only does it have the heaviest liner, it also has the thickest canvas, coming in at 1¼ ounces heavier than both the flannel and unlined versions. Which doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you have worn both the unlined and flannel lined version, you can immediately tell that the wool lined version is bulkier, both because the liner is heavier and because it's using a slightly thicker canvas. Now we're going to talk about the aesthetic differences between these jackets, and we're going to start down the bottom with the belly pockets. You can see both the wool line and the flannel line have straight pockets for the belly pockets, but the unlined has a slant pocket, so they don't function really any different, and it's honestly not that noticeable when you're using the jacket. I didn't even notice it at first when I went from the flannel line to the unlined. I really noticed it when I watched someone else's video and they pointed it out to me, and then I thought there was something else that looked different with the jacket, but I just wasn't picking up on it. So the way it functions, I didn't feel like it worked any different, but it is visually a little bit different. Now back to the pockets, we have an unlined jacket, so obviously an unlined pocket. We have a flannel lined jacket that has an unlined pocket. There's no liner in this pocket, it is just the wax. But then we have the wool lined jacket that has a wool lined pocket. So I'm very, very pleased with the wool line having the wool lined pocket. I really like this. It's very comfortable, especially with the fact that I wear the wool liner because it's the heaviest jacket in the coldest conditions. So when I put my paws inside those pockets, there is a nice wool liner in there that helps to keep my fingers pretty warm as opposed to just sticking them directly into an unlined waxed pocket. I mean, once your hands are in there, it kind of warms it up and feels okay, but when you're putting your cold hands into a pocket to try to warm them up, the last thing you want to do is to touch your cold hands to a cold waxy pocket. So I do really, really appreciate that the wool line has a liner in the pocket. I do wish that the flannel line had lined pockets as well, but seeing as I wear the wool in the coldest weather, the fact that that has the lined pockets, it does kind of make sense to me because I'm going to want them in the coldest jacket because I've worn this now at about 25-degree temperatures or so. So when I was sticking my hands in the pockets of the wool line jacket, it was really, really nice because I had fingerless gloves, so the tips of my fingers were a little chilly. So sticking it into a lined pocket felt very, very nice. Back to the aesthetics with the pockets here, you can see that both the wool line and flannel line have the pocket. It sits a little bit below the seam, where the line version, the pocket sits directly up on the seam. So these two, same lower pockets, same upper pockets. Now the unlined, again, a little bit different, sits directly on the seam. Also, both the flannel lined and wool lined have a single pocket on the left chest. So no right pocket at all. But the unlined version has 2 pockets. So not only are they up a little bit higher, You get 2 of them, so the whole aesthetic of this jacket is completely different. Now, while we have it open, the next aesthetic difference that you're only going to find on the Unlined version is this zigzag pattern that is stitched onto the button flap. Now, it doesn't do anything, but it just adds a little bit extra flair to the jacket. Now, both the flannel lined version and the wool lined version are just plain. There is no zigzag pattern. Again, it doesn't do anything. It's just a cosmetic thing, but it just adds a little extra flair to the unlined version of the jacket. The next difference we're gonna see is with the inside of the jacket. Both the flannel lined and the wool lined have a single pocket on the left side of the jacket. Now, you'll notice this is the wool lined. There's no label. The flannel line has a label. I don't know if that's a standard thing where for some reason the wool line has this label and the flannel line does not, but I noticed on mine that my flannel, it has the wax jacket Flint and Tinder label, where the wool line does not. Whereas the unlined version of the jacket actually has 3 inside pockets. We have the same pocket that we see on the flannel line and the wool line, and then we also have 2 additional pockets here. And the reason we have 2 additional pockets is because this is actually the inside pocket for the front belly pockets. It's much like you would see on a regular jean jacket where they just they sew the flap down, so it turns the flap from the belly pocket into a inside pocket. So you can't have these in the lined version because these sections of the jacket are actually covered by the liner, which is why we only have a single pocket in both of the lined versions. Where the unlined, we get this extra internal pocket. But there's one more difference with the inside of the jackets, and that is going to be also the wool line does not have a coat rack loop, where the flannel line has the loop and the unlined has the loop. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about on these jackets is something that a lot of people want to hear about when they're talking about a wax jacket, and that is the patina. Now, each of these jackets are going to patina a little bit different, and we're going to go ahead and take a quick peek at each of them and tell you why. So we're going to start in the middle here. This is my flannel lined version. This is my oldest version. You could see I got a little bit of shine here on the elbows from resting my elbow down on things. You can see the creases that are forming from bending the jacket on both sides. You can see the pockets a little scuffed up here. For some reason, you can even see on my unlined version, it's my left pocket gets a little more scuffed up than my right pocket. I'm not sure why that is, because I honestly use my right hand and my right pocket to put my keys in, so I would think my right pocket would get more scuffed up, but for some reason my left seems to be getting a little bit more scuffed up. So we have decent wear on the left pocket. You can see we got some bends and stuff from buttoning it, and you know, it's wearing pretty well. We get some creasing here, and then we have the unlined version, which you can again see right here on the elbow. We got a bit of a shine from resting my elbow down quite a bit. We're going to see a considerable more amount of creasing here on the sleeves from my arms, and again with this left pocket we get the marking up here with the wax and stuff. There's a couple extra wrinkles here that you're seeing. You know, we got some more wrinkling along the front. Now again, this is the unlined version, and then we have my wool lined version, which you can see we're getting a little bit of the elbow sheen there. Not nearly as much creasing in the arm. There is definitely some forming, but it's not as much. In the left pocket, again, we're seeing some of these scuff marks. Again, don't know why my left pocket gets scuffed up as much, but this jacket overall looks a little bit cleaner. Now, my wool line has less patina for 2 reasons, really. It's the newest one out of all 3 of these, so it does have a fair amount of wear, but not, you know, a whole year's worth that you see with about in my flannel line, and you know, a couple months that you see in my unlined. It's heavier, so I'm also not wearing it all day long. Where both the flannel and the unlined versions, when I'm wearing these, I'm almost always wearing these. I'm living in these jackets. I'm wearing these all day long at work. So I'm wearing them while I'm at my desk. I'm wearing them in meetings and stuff. I know I work in an office building. I wear a wax jacket to meetings. It's cold in those buildings. For some reason, no matter what time of year it is, it's always freezing in those buildings. But because the wool line is so heavy and so warm, I can't live in this like I do these other 2 jackets. It's too warm to wear at work, so I'm not living in this and wearing this all day long like I do with both of these two versions. So I don't have as much wear in it simply because it's too warm for me to wear indoors all day long. So I swap it out for a vest. I wear like the Relwyn WindZip vest, or I've been wearing I like cardigans, so I swap out for a cardigan sweater. So I'll wear like a sweater or something underneath or over my shirts at work to keep myself warm, because wearing the wool at work is just a little bit too warm. It's just a little bit heavier, that 8¼ ounce canvas, and the wool liner just makes the jacket too warm for me to wear all day long. Where these two I definitely wear all day long. So the newest jacket, but I also don't live in this one the way I live in these two when I wear them. But if we're gonna talk about how they patina, you could definitely see a lot more wear on my Unlined version as opposed to my flannel lined version. So even if we flip it over here, again, you're gonna see some more of that wear on the elbow. You're gonna see some more of that wear on the elbow, but you're gonna see a lot more creasing in the Unlined version. These are both the 7 ounce, so they're both the same weight, but because the Unlined version, you can see a lot of more discoloration here. You're getting a little bit of that with the flannel lined version, but this Havana is a little bit darker, but you can really see there's definitely a lot more discoloration. The creases are a lot lighter, where some of the wax and the dirt being picked up on the outside of the wrinkle is a lot darker. So more wrinkles, more wear than the flannel lined version. Sorry, jumping around. There's 3 different versions of the same jacket. I gotta keep them straight in my head. But because this is the Unlined version, I mean, it's touching my skin, so if I'm sweating, it's getting wet from the inside. If it's raining, it's getting wet from the outside. It just feels like the Unlined, because it's directly touching my skin and it doesn't have that liner to make the material just a little bit more rigid, a little thicker, it's definitely creasing more and wearing more. So out of all 3 of these jackets, the Unlined version definitely patinas more and patinas faster. So if you were looking to get a jacket solely on the fact that you wanted to patina the quickest and look the most beat up and worn in, you're definitely gonna wanna go with the Unlined version, because that is definitely taking on the most patina the quickest. Now, let's talk about temperature ranges. Again, we're gonna start right here in the middle with the flannel lined version, because this is the first one that I got, and I bought this one with my own money. And this probably has the most amount of wear on them out of all 3 of these jackets. So I got the Unlined or the flannel lined version in the early spring, I believe I got this. And I wore this from about 45 degrees to about 65 degrees. I wore this both casually, I wore this to work, I wore this in the car, and I wore this on the scooter. So I did wear this in temperature ranges upwards of about 85 degrees or so. And believe me, that was warm, but at the time, this was the only wax jacket I had. It was this or leather. So no matter what I was doing, I was going to be hot. And while moving, it was completely fine. While sitting at a red light in the heat, the flannel line it was hot. So when Huckberry told me that they were releasing the Unlined version, asked me if I wanted to take a look at this one, I said absolutely yes. So that they sent me the Unlined version, and I wore this probably from about 65 up to comfortably 80, 85-ish on the scooter, because I got the Unlined version moving more into the summer months when we were getting warmer, and I did wear this upwards of 90 degrees on the scooter. Same thing with the flannel lined version. While moving, wasn't too bad. Sitting at a traffic light, it was incredibly warm. Doesn't matter what you're wearing, even if you're wearing a textile jacket, in that heat, direct sunlight, you're gonna be hot, you're gonna be sweating. So honestly, it wouldn't have mattered what jacket I was wearing. I would be hot, I would be sweaty, sitting on the scooter in direct sunlight in 90 plus degree heat. But comfortably, casually wearing this on the scooter, this I'd say would be like, 65 to 80 degrees, no problems with the Unlined version. Now, the newest one will be the wool version, which I just got this about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and that's because it is finally getting cold here. Because northeastern Pennsylvania, we sometimes have 5 or 6 different summers, and it takes until November, December before you finally start seeing some 20-degree days. So finally, when it got cold enough, Huckberry did send me the wool lined version. I've been wearing this probably from about 25 to about 55 degrees or so. Actually, that's definitely my comfort range. I wore it a little colder. I did combine the wool line with like the Relwyn WindZip vest underneath. We're out and about at a Christmas market. It was pretty cold. I think it was like 21 to 23 degrees, something like that. It's a pretty chilly night. Combined with the vest, I was actually nice and toasty, completely warm. Again, though, that's when those lined pockets were very, very nice, putting those fingerless gloves and 2 wool-lined pockets was great. It was very nice. I was very, very appreciative of that, but very comfortable to wear from about 25 to about 55 degrees. So 25 to 55, I'd say 55 to 65, 70, and then from about 65 up to about 75, 80 degrees comfortable. But if I was forced to choose just one of these jackets, if you were going to twist my arm and tell me life or death situation, one jacket, which one are you going to take, which one are you going to pick, and it would be the flannel lined wax trucker. I just love this jacket. I mean, like a lot of us, I fell in love with when I saw Pedro Pascal wearing it in The Last of Us, and that's what finally pushed me to buy a wax jacket. I've been looking at wax goods for a long time. When I saw him wearing this jacket, I was like, that thing's badass. I gotta finally get one. I gotta get a wax jacket. I've been wanting one forever. I've just been holding off, and I don't know why. It looked great. I gotta get one. So that's what made me buy it finally. But I feel like this is the most versatile out of all of the jackets. I could wear this casually all day long at work, and I'm comfortable in the building. It's not the heaviest one, but I could layer underneath this if it's going to be colder out. I can wear this underneath something if I really needed to. If I was really cold, I can wear this as like a mid layer and then a jacket over it, I guess. But I feel like casually this works really, really well in a lot of situations because it is lined and it's not super heavyweight. I can wear this probably in the widest variety of temperature ranges. And again, I can layer underneath it. And if I'm wearing it on the scooter and it's hot out in the summer, as long as I'm not stopped for an extensive period of time at a red light, I definitely can rock this and wear this in the warmer months as well. So if I had to choose one, I'm gonna choose the flannel lined wax trucker. I just feel like, again, it's the most versatile out of the three. I don't want to give up either of my other ones. I do love both of these jackets dearly, and I'm very, very grateful to Huckberry for sending me not only these 2 jackets, but a lot of the other goods that they've sent me to test out and wear and check out. But if you're looking at one, I would go with the flannel line because I just love it. And it's middle of the road too. This one's $298. This is $248, and this is $228. So it's middle of the road priced, and I think it's middle of the road with how you can wear it. You can definitely layer it if you're colder, and you can wear it a little bit warmer months and get away with it as long as you're on a 2-wheel motorized vehicle, cruising around, got some breeze blowing on you. But there you have it, the rundown, the breakdown of all 3 variations of the Flint and Tinder wax trucker jacket. I hope this was a bit helpful for you if you're trying to decide which jacket was best for you. So drop a comment down below if you have any further questions. I'm sure I missed something. So if you have any specific questions, I will do my best to either answer them or find out the answer for you. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications the next time I post a brand new video. Good night.